right. So what's going on?
Nothing too much
No.
of the difference. Nothing much different.
Yeah. Same old, same
What
old.
about you? Yeah.
Oh, just busy. I've been trying to stick to my routine more so this week, which has made a difference. It's weird when you travel, get out of your routine. When I
Um,
travel back, I didn't. We left Friday to go to Kentucky, and it's um, that morning routine. Um, it gets you out of your habit. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I noticed that. I don't know. So I had some anxiety for whatever reason. I think it's just because I didn't have my morning routine going. You know, because we all have stuff going on
Yeah.
in our lives that are can be stressful or anxiety if you let it bother you. If you let that stuff fester. You know, um, I think that's why I was feeling that because I just didn't have uh, that morning routine to get
Yeah.
my day started.
Do you think it, because you've only been back for like a week,
Yeah,
right?
we came back here Monday. We were back, Monday afternoon.
Do you think it's from not doing it while you were here and then,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. I've got a lot going on with my work, and it's easy to get overwhelmed if you let it. Very easy. I mean, you know, for real.
yeah.
There's a gazillion things I'm doing. I'm holding the CEO seat. I'm handling sales. I'm doing some other stuff as well. Doing R&D. Doing bringing on new product line and trying to improve our systems and you know um,
Yeah, that's a lot.
it's there's a ton going on and if I'm not doing it then it's not going to get done. So you know
Yeah. Yeah.
so that I think that maybe out of my routine. I don't know. For me, that my morning routine gives me, self confidence. It boosts my, self confidence, energy level. That self confidence is like it's like letting go almost. When you have self confidence, you're not, you've like let all that. You like it's like the book Letting Go. When you can let
Yeah.
when you can let go of all that worrisome or stress or whatever you want to call it, your confidence, for me, that's, I feel a confidence boost where like I'm confident in what I'm doing right now is what I should be doing. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what we discussed last time, your task, you're doing your task. But when I get out of my
Yeah.
routine, it's like, it's all,
Yeah. Lately, I've been trying to, because I think I've been, yeah, have a little bit of like, okay, like what should I focus on today? Or like what, like, like
yeah,
that, I guess like that same kind of like feeling maybe with like a lot of different things going on.
yeah,
What it's, I've been trying to like drill this in my head. Like I'm following, or if I follow my inspiration, like in every moment of every day, and like I take action on that, then and I will get like what I'm looking for. Like if I just keep following that motivation, that intuition, or like that
yep.
intuitive nudge of like what I'm supposed to do or like what I want to do in that moment,
Because
I
that's
will.
really, if you, the definition of success, I mean, that's, really the definition. What I view it as is the pursuit of an admiral goal, pursuit of you know your visions, your dreams, the pursuit of that. It's not getting that; it's that pursuit. That
Yeah.
so the success is like you're saying, each task. knowing that task, that you're full in on that small little step, like you're like if you just repeat that mantra, because the bigger picture of being successful, having a successful life is about each moment being successful. You can't have a total successful life. Like
Yeah.
at the end of your days, you couldn't have had a total successful life without having each moment feeling like
Yeah.
each of your moments are successful. And I think it just really is that, like you're saying, it's that mental game. It's like telling yourself, no, what I'm doing right now is I'm all in and I'm doing this, whatever it is. I'm following my intuition to do this.
Yeah.
And trust and let go. For real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy.
weird how
Go,
yeah
no,
we
go
want to
ahead.
control.
I,
It's weird how we want to like control everything. Like why do you think that has become, because like whenever we were like cavemen or whatever, do you think we like, I think we've probably followed our, like more so like follow the flow of life, like we didn't like have to do certain things in
I
order
think
to
when
be
we are
happy.
when human beings were in their more animalistic state, just like birds and animals, how do they know where food is? How do they know where what is? How do they know where water is? They're not even around anything. People will say, well, they can smell it and they can blah blah blah. Maybe a little bit, but I think the more part of how animals survive is on their intuition as to what told them to fly over there and there was going to be bugs over there for them to eat. What told them to fly over there and there's water over there. Something in their mind. I
Yeah.
think the intuition. I think our universe, our world's been created, you know, such that um, seeds and life and everything bears fruit easily. Like, so in your own life, whatever work you're doing to bear fruit, it's going to bear fruit because you're taking action and you're doing something, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I think people self-suffer through that, and they, oh no, what ifs, and they just that's Buddha talks about self-suffering, and that's what I mean for real. We human beings self-suffer through life
Yeah.
for real. And I think that's the whole um, uh,
Yeah.
premise behind Buddha was to end self-suffering. Like why am I
Yeah.
suffering? Why am I
Like
you know
most like stress, anxiety, depression, like most of it, would you say is like self-inflicted?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like 99.99% of it. Even in the Bible, the Christian Bible, I don't remember what passage it is, but I'm paraphrasing here. Pretty much, Jesus says, "Well, why are you worrying? God provides for the birds and the animals and of the earth for food and everything without their worry. How much more would God do for you as a human being? So why are you worrying about your fruits of labor? Why are you worrying over that?
Mm.
Like that's just senseless. Like it's total senseless. You know, just making
I like that.
yeah, it's like contrary to how we were intended to live for real. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've been also trying to, like anytime like I feel that worry of like no money coming in or whatever, like I just I try to be like I don't have to worry, like basically like that sort of thing, like I'm going to be provided for, like everything's going to work out for me, like it's gonna, like I'm gonna be okay, if like something like I'm gonna be provided for, like in some way, like some way I'm going to, that will show up for me in some way.
yes,
Like I don't have to worry about it.
yes. It's all about following that intuition, those nudges, and taking the action of what that nudge was. That's really, I mean, it's pretty. It's actually quite simple. We try to complicate it a lot.
Yeah. I was listening to Brashar, I think is where I got this from, but he was saying, like, okay, so there's our brain, like our human self, and then there's like our higher self.
Uh-huh.
So like our brain is really only here to experience, to allow us to experience the world. And our higher self is what's supposed to, like, I guess, drive us to do like different things.
Yeah.
But we get inside of our brain maybe too, and that kind of
It clouds it, confuses it.
yeah. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting that like our brain is really just here to experience, and like the Buddha and like everyone says, like we need to just be.
Yeah.
And so like if we're just being, we're really in the present moment and just experiencing everything like that's going on. So I don't know. It's just interesting how, like, I don't know. I feel like different things connect even though they're not related.
They do, for sure. I was thinking the other day, I was like, it's kind of strange, and I don't know how most entrepreneurs like feel that way, or people that are just trying to be more, self-directed type of mentality. Like it's almost like spirituality meets business almost, you know what I'm saying? Because the whole manifestation and everything, whatever your endeavors you're trying to do, even what you're doing is really entrepreneurial. And,
Yeah.
it's like, it's strange how the combination of the two come together, like how that fits, entrepreneurship and spirituality merging to create a blissful path to livelihood into business. Why shouldn't your livelihood, your riches, your wealth, why shouldn't you have a spiritual path to that? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, it doesn't have to be like stress, go, grind it out, step on people, screw everybody, and to get, like, no, you don't, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
I find it interesting.
What do you think? Why do you think that, like, some people, maybe it just seems like it, but it seems like some people, they are just like naturally able to do things, or like they're naturally able to be like uber successful, or to, or just like so natural at like,
Well, I
different
think
things.
I think part of that, you're looking at a snapshot in time of that person's life, and you have no idea what they've had to go through and what they had to do to get to those points, in their lives. Um, it depends. I mean, some people, it's all about money, and that's all it's about. And so you see people that are uber wealthy. I mean, I could have been a money too, and chosen a different path. But to me, that's not, money's not money is just another tool or resource along your journey. It's not the end all to be all. And I think some people make that end all to be all, and that's what they do, which is fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm not judging any of that. I'm just saying, I think you're seeing people in a snapshot in time, though, and you don't know what their intentions were, what their, and of course, some people are born into better opportunity than other, and it's nothing wrong with that either. People try to say, well, you're privileged for that, but there's nothing wrong with you were born into situation where you had more opportunity than somebody else too, and that could be what you see as well when you see somebody that's been uber wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of paths that people. I mean, like for me, I could have went into a military style engineering background and been involved with a military industrial complex, but I made a commitment to myself a long time ago. Like, none of my engineering skills would ever be used to harm a single human being ever, no matter what it was. I'm not going to create any kind of weapon, gun, anything that would hurt or harm a human being. Like, no, I can't imagine an engineer thinking that's okay. But there's a lot of them that do it, and they're, make a lot of money doing it because that's where the, money's being spent. But it's like, no, I can't. No, how could anybody, like your karma, your consciousness, imagine your karma, you creating these, using your mind to create these things that are killing hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of people that you invented. Like, how could you feel good about that? For real. I mean, you can tell yourself it's for safety and security all day long, but at the end of the day, you killed a lot. Your mind, your inventions killed a lot of people. Like, I can't imagine those people that worked on the atom bomb. They dropped it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killed, instantly vaporized hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, golly, how could you live with yourself? Wonder what happens when you die and where your karma takes you from there. Because I believe, when you die, your karma decides kind of where where you're gonna.
Do you think we're incarnated back into humans, or do you think we're?
I think it's a combination of karma and free will that decides that choice. Of course, Hindus believe you're immediately reborn back into this existence. And you could be, your karma could dictate where you come back in that existence as well. But I think, I believe, we've had free will when we're born, and we have free will now. And why would that end when we die? There is karmic law that I believe in, that karma does play a role in when you pass. That probably has some determination if you can come back or not. Because I think this human existence is a gift. It's truly a gift if you think about from an energy form of spirit, like a spirit energy form, to this physical form that you can feel, touch, smell, taste, experience, emotion. I mean, the experience that we have as human beings, you can't really have all those senses in a energetic spirit form.
Yeah.
So I think it's like going to Disneyland as as a child. You go to Disneyland and like experience this amazing place, and I think we have this gift to come here and experience this amazing place.
Yeah. And it's like some people go to Disneyland and they
kick and scream,
stressed out about getting there on time. They're
kick and scream and mad that they're standing in line and pissed off that they got to walk way over here to this ride. And, right, just like in life.
Yeah.
For real. It's crazy. I mean, sometimes, it's, if you can go outside and like take a step back out of your human mind, and just like, if you go outside and just like look and experience, and I look around sometimes, especially like maybe after a meditation or whatever, but I look around sometimes and I'll like it's just miraculous, our creation. And it's like, it takes me back like into the movie Avatar. Like when you see the Avatar movie, you're like, oh my gosh, look at that creation. That planet is so awesome. But if we take a step back and look at our planet in the same way,
like the exact same.
And look at all the mass quantity of life from the microscopic level organism all the way up through little insects, bugs to birds to, and you look around and you're like, everything is alive everywhere I look. Like, and,
Yeah.
life springs forth from our
Crazy.
planet anywhere. Like, we have to work at keeping the life away to keep our lawn or porches or how, we have to fight to keep the life of the planet from overrunning us, because if we didn't, it would overrun
Yeah.
us, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
it's interesting to think on those terms. You're like, wow, this is crazy how amazing it is.
Yeah, I'll go on walks and like I'll try to imagine like what it would look like without like the sidewalks or like the houses and like everything. Like it would be crazy probably. Like
I mean, in like 30, 50 years, all the life would overgrow the whole neighborhood. Like, the houses would fall in, they would start deteriorating, trees would sprout up. I mean, we had trees growing in our gutters. you know, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
it's crazy how rampant that is. And if you step back and like really think about that, like, wow, this place that we're in is pretty amazing. You know.
Yeah. I mean like even like the like trees are alive and like the grass like do you remember like watching Avatar and like they would step on the ground and like it would glow up?
Uh huh.
Like I feel like that's like probably happening like whenever we step like on the grass, but like we just can't like
I bet
see
if you
it.
had some sort of device that could view the energy on that ground as you're stepping, you would probably see that, like, that ripple of energy through there, like that. I bet you would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet so too. There's studies that show that like grounding has actual effects on the body too.
Oh, I'm sure it does. There's no doubt.
They
Um,
found that it has anti-inflammatory effects.
I go.
And
it's it's funny. I go barefooted more, especially when it gets warmer. I mean, it's rare for me. Like, even when I walk down to the dock or walk around in the yard, I'm barefooted most of the time. If I'm going somewhere sketchy, I might put on some flip flops to go into something sketchy. But generally, it's you know.
yeah. Well, they're coming out with like have you seen they're coming out with like grounding mats or whatever.
For you to like
Um
sit on, or in your house, or
yeah, just like sit on yeah,
yeah,
like lay on in your house. Like you can buy some like for your bed and like people I think it's just like copper wire or something and
yeah,
it sends out electromagnetic fields or something.
yeah.
But people say that like after using it they feel different.
I mean, we're an energy being. We have energy radiating all through our body, from our brain to our heart to all of our cells in our body. So, I mean, that's understandable. I think um, there is something to do with that. You know, um, because we are physically affected by, like, the sun's radiation too. Um, so that, I would say, the grounding does have an effect on humans. Like, when we have a solar flare from the sun, um, it depends on how much particles are coming off the sun to us. But people, now it's been related to increase in heart attacks, mental distress, and things of that nature on the human body. For that, it's interesting.
Hmm.
I saw a video the other day about with the Schumann resonances of the
Yeah,
Earth.
I was just about to say something about that.
They were saying that it's increased from like 7.88 hertz to 11 hertz. Like, it's increased its frequency range, which means the vibration of Earth has been increased, and we resonate. Apparently, I guess we resonate with that frequency. But they were saying like that increase in resonance is good for humanity because it helps the people
Like,
vibrate at a higher level, and you know,
yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. Is that's do you think that's basically what they mean whenever they say like we need to raise the human collective consciousness?
it could be. I don't know if it. I don't know that that would have an effect on the Earth itself. I'm not sure how the Earth gets that frequency.
Well, we're all on the earth.
We are, yeah. I don't know. There possibility that humanity could influence that. I would think it would more the other way around for whatever reason. Um,
Well, did you they so whenever like 9/11 happened, they found that there was a huge spike in the Schumann resonance, and the person who was explaining it thought it was because like everyone was like so full of like love and like empathy for the people that were there
I think
at
that
9
spike. I
9/11.
think that spike occurred before the towers were attacked too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that energy. I know what you're talking about. There's these sensors they've put all over the world to measure, I guess, some sort of frequency. I don't know. It could be the Schumann, but um, there was before the event occurred, before anything had happened, the spike was already like going up, like
Hmm.
this collective um, energy level detected it for whatever reason. Um, it's like premonition or things like that. You know, there's premonition. You know, people that detect events before they occur. You know, I think all that's
Yeah.
real. That energy, there's this energy layer out there that we just don't fully understand. You know, um, I
Yeah.
think I think some people understand it more than others, and maybe like our government probably understands it more than what they would let general population understand it to be this energetic level that we can tap into and connect to. That's like gives you remote viewing and other things like that. That you're in this other energy layer that you're
Yeah.
connecting
It's all
into.
around you.
Yeah,
It's
and
like the Matrix, I think.
yeah. I
Like there's
mean,
just like grids all over the place and then information flowing
I
through
think
it.
you
That's
can.
how I
Yeah, I think you can tune your brain into those frequencies and those energies. And some people have a more natural ability to tune their brain into those frequencies. But like the remote viewing thing, they showed that anybody can be taught how to do that. It's not like a special gift. Like there's a whole program that you can like be taught. And the few little exercises I did, I was like, that's legit. I mean, for real, that's legit. I mean, it's interesting.
yeah.
I just did the one of the Hemi Sync, the Monroe Institute. Um,
Yeah.
I did the remote viewing one um, the other day. I fell asleep through it. I need to revisit it, but there's one that's called remote viewing. I guess it helps you um, into remote viewing. But I've been doing those audio series, and they're very interesting. It's weird. I get like when I'm doing these, I start getting these just you know just ideas, different ideas that I haven't had before of things. Of what you know. I don't know. It's just weird. That's the only way I can
Yeah.
explain it. I get ideas that I haven't like. Where are these ideas coming from? I think it's it's opening your brain up or yourself up to
Mm.
that layer of energy that's out there.
Yeah. It's so weird how like stuff like that happens. Like you start saying a mantra and then you start seeing it like seeing things pop into your life that affirms to you that it's like working, or like, like it's
Yeah.
just so weird. Like, what in the world? Like,
It's it's
we really
bizarre.
are like creating our life.
It's it really is
Like
bizarre.
it's all about our perception and like what we believe to be true, and it's
That
weird.
that's it right there. What you just said. What we believed it to be true for real. That belief. That belief. That belief creates our box for real. And the box, whatever box we're in, the belief creates that box for real. Whatever beliefs we have, that's it is. But it's like a
It's
mind.
weird.
It's a total mind game. It really is. I mean, I remember when I, you know, first quit my corporate job and started my own business and um, I'm not going to say it was all smooth sailing because it was like jumping out of an airplane and trying to figure out, okay, I have to fly now. What am I going to do? It was like, you know,
Yeah.
but it was always for about the first year, it was a big mental wrestling match that I always had about fear of money, fear of not making it, fear of not, oh no, what if I don't have enough money, and things were tight, you know, because I just quit a good paying job to do my own thing, but you know, it was always just a tremendous wrestling match. At least for the first year, it was like I would have to like in the middle of the day just stop what I was doing and like do a meditation and like go like no, this is what I'm doing. This is and wrestle that fear down to the ground and like let it go, like wrestle it down, like literally like a massive internal battle in your mind, you know,
Yeah.
because my line of thinking and programming had been 40 something years of programming of a certain way. Now all of a sudden I'm like, no, this is so it was a big
Yeah.
constant like wrestling
Yeah.
match. It's easier anymore. My mantra, forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, and just try to push that out. Not saying things don't bother me still today, but
Yeah.
I can deal with them easier and like not let it like stop me in my tracks.
Yeah. I was can't remember what I was listening to, but um they were saying that like the human being, or like the human experience, like wants to, like, you came here to experience the full range of emotions. And like I think the way we were programmed per se is like whenever we like weren't able to fully feel those emotions, so then we, like, you know what I'm trying to say, like whenever we were younger, like that's whenever we were programmed the most.
Mm-hmm.
And so like sometimes we would stop ourselves from feeling those emotions, and so that would kind of put some kind of imprint in ourselves to then like act a certain way so that we can like navigate the world and protect ourselves and stuff like that.
Yep.
But so we've suppressed so many emotions that we haven't felt in ourselves as like now like adults. But like in order to release ourselves of those programs, we need to like bring those back up to the surface and at least like acknowledge them
Yep.
to surpass them, and
Because
like from there on not allow ourselves to feel any emotions
yep.
that come up for us.
Well, you know, yeah, you're right. That energy, that emotional energy, can be trapped, and it people spend their whole lifetime with that energy trapped, like um, being fearful, having phobias, having tons of just constant anxiety and or depression or but I agree. Yeah, you have to like you got to peel that back, look at it, feel that emotion in your mind, even relive it in your mind. Go back to those moments if you can and experience those moments, and then let that flow out. Like, forgive it, let it flow out. I forgive the situation, forgive yourself, forgive any other parties that were involved in that emotional event, and feel that. If you have to cry, cry. If be sad, be sad. Feel that emotion and let it. You're right. Let it flow. Um, that's something I, still ponder. Because we're humans and we're emotional beings and we experience emotions. Like to think that you can just block anger or block, negative emotions. You can't. You have to feel them, acknowledge them, and let them flow out. It's like letting it flow through you. Letting it flow through you. So when it flows through you, you acknowledge it, you experience it, you feel it, and then it passes through you and goes away. It goes on. It's when we put up that resistance to it and go, no, I'm not going to feel that, and you get, and it stays trapped in you, and you feel that anger or that stress or that doubt, whatever that, negative emotion would be. You experience that and block it. You're like trying to but I think, you have to acknowledge it and let it flow through and breathe out. And it's hard because we're humans and we're emotional beings, and those things are, uncomfortable. Anymore, I try to tell myself, breathe through, it'll pass. This feeling, whether it's depression or grief or whatever that is, grief, I've dealt with that over the last month and a half with Matt passing away, I mean, some immense grief that I had to, let flow through and, get through, not block it and hold on to it. Breathe through it, let it flow out, acknowledge it, experience it, cry if you need to, whatever you got to do to, but I think that book, Letting Go, is really good about explaining that, helping you let go of those trapped emotions and helping you understand that, like, this energy can be trapped in you for decades, like, that without your knowing it. And, I think that's why people have, like, when they have reactions to things, like their triggers, like, why is this thing pissing me off so bad? Like, I'm enjoying my day, and this thing over here just pissing me off to no end, whatever it is, whether it's somebody riding your ass in the car or somebody, running, whatever the thing is that's pissing you off, but it's probably some trapped energetic, energy, emotion that's triggering this unconscious response or subconscious response.
It's like the story that you're making up about this situation is the same story from like 10 years ago that really made you whatever, and you've held on to that.
And you're unaware that that's even why you're being triggered by that event.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then you like think back, and like if you think back, like I've like thought back to like, okay, when was like the first time that I felt this way? So because that can help you kind of release that. And like sometimes it's like something really stupid that you've like held on to for like a long time, but it's like made sense to like your child self, but like
right at the time that was a big deal, like that was a huge deal to you, but now it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't really anything. That it's funny, the book I'm reading, how living untethered, Michael Singer, he talks about that, what we're talking about. He peels it back, where it's real easy to understand, breaks it down like to the component level of like And it takes a real silly, simple example, and it's like to make you like have these aha moments. You're like,
Mm.
well, that is true because that is really the way it works in my brain, in my head, in my perceptions, and you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird how much. It's weird how much there is to the human consciousness and just like how like who made up all of these rules? Like why why does it work this way?
As far as our own human nature or our
Yeah,
society, our human
like our own
nature.
human nature. Yeah, like who said that if you don't if you don't fully feel your emotion and you suppress it, like it'll keep coming up for you until you feel it all the way through, and like it's just like a game, like
I think,
like it's just
I
like a
think,
really intricate video game.
yeah, um, I think that's, yeah, that is strange. Like what? I think, honestly, I think without the contrasting of those emotions and those experiences, I mean, to experience a human existence, um, to have the contrast, you can't know happiness without sadness, right? You can't know
Yeah.
light without dark. You can't know, red without green. The contrast, like if everything was just all the same,
Mm.
black and white everywhere, you wouldn't have the contrast. Like I actually just read it yesterday. This chapter in the book I'm reading, he was talking about, if you see a rattlesnake, you're going to get emotionally intense because this creature has the potential to harm you gravely, to kill you, and you're going to get this intense reaction from this rattlesnake, right? Um, on the contrasting side, if you get a butterfly that lands on your hand, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful this butterfly is, you know. But he
Yeah.
said, he was talking about some other things too. But one of the things he said, well, if a butterfly landed on your hand every single day and it wasn't any big deal, you would never think that this was a special big deal anymore that a butterfly landed on your hand, right? So it's that contrasting of events,
Mm.
emotions to let you feel excitement, happiness, because I think we pretty much, humans on our emotional scale, we're just kind of blipping along and on these minor deviations in day in and day out. And then you have the large happiness events, the large sad events, death of loved ones and people, or tragic events that happen. So you have, you're blipping along, but you do have these very highs and very lows that you can experience as
Yeah.
well to have the contrast. And, if we didn't have that, we would just be robots. I think, we wouldn't have this human. I think it was all
Yeah.
in the grand creation of our design to experience this human existence to the fullest extent that you could experience a physical form. Truly a
Yeah.
gift. Truly a wonderful gift that we get to experience this for real. I mean, it is a gift.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might not feel like it when we're struggling through something, but it is a gift. And just got to remember that those moments, we're here to experience this, human existence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Have you listened to any of the Hemi Sync stuff?
No, not yet.
You should make it a point to start in on them for real.
It's in Google Drive.
Yeah, it's on this one, the account we have set
Okay.
up here. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just
I'll have
log
to listen
log
to
into
them.
that. Yeah, it takes it's about 45 minutes from start to finish, probably somewhere 35, 45 minutes. But they're very
Okay.
interesting. Um, I'm in just not even halfway through them, but definitely like You just have to experience it. I've been having all these
It's
crazy.
weird.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, you
I've
you
been
say no.
I've been having all these crazy. I don't know. I talked about it on our last call. These ideas around energy and like our
Oh yeah,
understanding of atomic energy and the way it's formed. And I've been having these crazy like ideas that are coming in. Like
realizations.
yeah, like man, I don't know that that's right. Our understanding, our concepts around you know energy. You know, we essentially created the atomic bombs based on theories that we had about atomic energy, atoms. And I think we got lucky. Like I said, I think it's the equivalent of two or a monkey striking two stones together and creating fire. Like we did this thing, we're like, oh crap, look at this thing we just did. Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
We don't fully understand this quantum and atomic energy. We have a lot of theories out there, but theories are just an assumption. There's no facts.
Idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not facts. It's not like factual. Like we don't have the theory of gravity. It's the law of gravity because we know that it's factual. Like it works the way it works, you know. But there's when you say
Yeah.
the theory of evolution, well, that's not fact. It's a theory, and it's your best guess as to what's going on there, and it's not doesn't mean that it's true, and you haven't
Yeah.
proven it. Just like
Yeah.
the atomic theory, it's still theory. There's no like we haven't proven. They're still trying to, but they haven't proven how this down on a subatomic energetic level. I'm just blown
Yeah.
away. What prevents if we're just total energy and it's this theory, what prevents my finger from not going through this phone? We're both
Yeah.
vibrating particles, right? We're vibrating particles and energy. Like, how is that not going through
Yeah.
there then?
Yeah.
Or, or even like how our planets were formed, the theory of how our planets were formed. Oh, well, a bunch of material just started clumping together, and then the gravity held it together and attracted more stuff in there. So I'm thinking, if you tell me if I go to space and spray a can full of helium, that all the helium particles are going to clump together and create a sun? No, they won't. They're going to drift apart and go their own way. So how does that even hold? Like, there's things now that is like
Yeah.
aren't adding up to how we've been told about this gravity, energy, particles that hold us together. And I like have these weird flashes of like ideas or things like, wait a minute, that's not right the way that works. Like, I don't know, it's bizarre. I think it's from from the stuff, the hemisync stuff I've been listening to for real. I think that I'm getting this
Yeah.
like these ideas and this like it's coming in like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
it's weird.
So, do you think we, how do you think humans came about or any, like, yeah, like there's no way that like the particles just came together and
No,
created these humans that are, it's like so, like the probability that we are here
never
today
gonna
is
happen.
like
Never gonna happen.
so
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah. We didn't start from an amoeba in a soup of primordial soup, and a lightning bolt struck it, and then all of a sudden there's a creature, and then we grew legs, and we grew. No, hell, no way. We were intently created. Everything around us was intently created. Now, do I think that there can be deviations within species and modifications and automatic mutations in genes that in our DNA sequences that we have? Well, sure. But to jump species for us to develop, if the world all of a sudden got flooded with water for 1 billion years, would we all of a sudden develop gills and start swimming again? No, we would not. In a gazillion years would we ever start developing gills and start swimming again. No, it's not going to happen. I think that was just their lame idea on how to explain our creation without saying that there was more intelligence involved in creating us, whether you want to call it God or whatever you want to call it, alien. I don't know what you call it, but we were intently
So,
created and designed for sure.
so how, like, what created the creator?
That's a good question. Like, I mean, for real, anybody should just be able to walk outside, look at a flower, look at the different flowers and how intimately creative they
Yeah.
are and how aesthetically pleasing they are to the eyes.
Yeah.
Look at a giraffe, a leopard, a zebra, human beings. It was no
Yeah.
accident. It was designed from all the plants
Sure.
and life around here to the microscopic viruses, bacteria. It was all created by an intelligence that we cannot comprehend. For real. I don't know who
Yeah.
created the creator.
Yeah.
that's that's an interesting one. The creator's
Like,
always been.
what, like, how is anything even anything, you know?
That's I there's no for sure without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that it's all intelligently designed by some intelligence that we cannot comprehend for real. I mean, and I strive for understanding. I do, my intentions are for knowledge, understanding of the creation, of spirituality, of energy. All that is, that's one of my constant intentions is I want to know more knowledge. You give me more knowledge. I'll
Yeah.
take as much knowledge as I can get on creation, manifestation, spirituality, all that. It's like what, right? That is the ultimate question. What created the creator and where did it begin? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even comprehend that. There's like,
Yeah.
I don't think we could, I don't think we were created to
Do
come.
you think,
Well, go ahead. I got something to.
well, go ahead on your
Well,
train of thought.
so a lot of times when I'm like, I'll intend or put out there whether you want to call it prayer or whatever I do. I'm like, I would like more understanding of spirituality or this, that, or the other. And sometimes I get a loud voice back and it says, why do you seek that knowledge? Would it change
Mm.
what you're doing today? Would it change what you're doing day in and day out if you had that knowledge? You know what to do day in and day out. The voice I get is you know what to do day in and day out, right? You know the steps you need to take. You know what you need to do to create your life to be happy, successful, peaceful, compassionate. Like, so would that knowledge or that understanding change anything fundamentally about what you need to do every day to live your life? And my answer is usually, well, no, because I know what I need to do every day of my life to live it the way I want to live it. No, it really wouldn't change that if I had this glimpse of this flash of this, maybe this crazy understanding now of what it all means or what it all, but no, it's like the answer I get is like, no, you know what to do. You know what you need to do every day. Like, so just do that. Like,
Interesting.
it is
That is
interesting.
so.
Like I have had that conversation, that voice many times, like come in and say that, like, would that change what you do? Like, how would that change your daily
Well, I
living?
guess I think there's a point in I think there's a point in everyone's like spiritual journey where you realize kind of like, okay, like you just like the end thing that you realize is, okay, you just have to be in this reality. Like like you just, that's like this the end realization. You just got to be present be happy and live your life to the fullest.
Be the change you want to be and see in the world. You know, um, it starts with you. And you know what to do. You know the steps you need to do every day. If you want more compassion in the world, you have to be compassionate. You know. I think you're locked up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want more compassion in the world, you got to be more compassionate. If you want more love in the world, you have to be more loving. You can't snarl at somebody when they cut you off or honk at you or drive, ride your tail. You can't snarl if you want more love in the world. If you want to embody love and compassion and peace and happiness, well, you have to show that to have that in the world, right? It's like, so that's, I mean, your day to day, like the message I get a lot of times. You know what you need to do every day. So any additional knowledge as to spirituality or whatever was not going to change what you should be doing every day. Like that's not going to change that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm at the point. For me, I know what I need to do. I mean, the motivation to do it, I already have that. So any more understanding, I do like glimpses of understandings, and I think I still get those glimpses of better understanding or things that I've been trying to understand or want to. I mean, how good would it be? Not from an ego standpoint, but just imagine if you could have an idea or create something that could change humanity, like for the better. What if you could create something that could, like, whether it was a free energy device or something that, created instant clean water, or have better, of a food supply or that. I mean, you're talking about extreme poverty throughout the world, people suffering. I mean, in these other countries that just are scrapping for even clean water to drink, not let alone to have any amount of food or any kind of, existence other than total survival and absolute poverty, like it's, to be able to, change that, or maybe be able to do something to increase the vibration level of humanity or whatever that looks like, like how great would that be, to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again,
Going,
starts with be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to the like creation thing, do you think that like the smaller like this smaller version is like a mirror of the larger, like maybe the way we have consciousness, like different things, like maybe is that how like maybe like every planet has a consciousness and like different things, and like maybe every universe has a consciousness, and then maybe I don't even know what the next thing would be.
we could be this small in the grand scheme of the everything. We could be an insect
Like
on the speck of our Earth could be an atom in the grand scheme of
yeah. Like the sun is like everything's like rotating like
it could be an atom. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
like
I don't know if the Men in Black movie where the cat had that thing on its, I don't know if you remember seeing that. The cat had this necklace on and had this little thing in there. And at the end of the movie, they were chasing this, cat the whole time. And at the end of the movie, they showed inside of this thing was this whole galaxy in space, like our not our solar system, but our galaxy. I mean, our galaxy is so like light years, many light years
Yeah.
wide. Like it's massive, massive. It's astronomically massive, but it was this whole galaxy inside of this cat's, and it really made you think. You took a step back and like, whoa, like that's deep right there to think. But
So then, yeah, yeah. Keep going.
but no, I
Sorry.
mean you're right to think. I mean, so here's like, so on that note, we had the Big Bang Theory all along, that like astronomers had the Big Bang Theory that, um, thought they knew the single point in our whole universe. Well, when we launched this new telescope, the James Webb Telescope, I don't know if you've heard about it's this new massive
Yeah.
telescope. So this telescope's now has been able to see farther in space than we've ever seen before, and it's seeing galaxies that totally discredit the Big Bang Theory. I mean, totally, like, you might as well take the paper and rip it in half and throw it in the garbage, because the Big Bang Theory no longer stands. Like, and scientists are trying to struggle with that. But to your point, we as humans haven't even been able to see the big picture of where we're at in the grand scheme of things. Because now we've got this tool that can see back further, and like, oh, wait a minute. There's more stuff way back there that we couldn't see before, and there's probably more stuff way back there that we couldn't see. There's probably more stuff way, the expanses of it. Like we
Yeah.
thought we could see the edge of it, but no, it's still going. Like, it's probably, who knows how far, infinitely large it will go. But to your point, so that bigger thing, we could be this little bitty, like an atom, spinning around this bigger thing that's exist.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, so if the smaller is of the larger, then what if, like, our particles that we're made of is galaxies of different worlds?
Could be. It's trippy to think about. For sure. Definitely. I mean,
Weird.
definitely there's, without a doubt, there's other life out there in the universe. There's no doubt in my mind. For sure. There's, like, no doubt. You got to wonder how long other civilizations or beings, like even our Earth, there definitely was civilization, that our common history that you and I were taught in school, it's all BS, because there was some very intelligent civilization that was pre-Egyptians. The Egyptians just came on the scene and discovered the pyramids. There was some civilization prior to that had created all this with technology that was either lost or they left the planet. Clearly there's evidence on Mars and the moon that there was life there and civilizations there. There could still be maybe something there. There's clearly evidence of stuff there too. But it always makes me wonder, if there is life out there and they do have the technology to get to Earth, that means they would be way smarter than human beings would be. And I always question, would they be benevolent? Would they be nice? Would they be here for a good cause? And
Well, I think if they were smarter, they would understand, like
you would
the
hope.
negative.
You would hope
Yeah.
that. Smarter does, more intelligence doesn't always mean more spiritual either. You know, and I think that anymore, and Hindus were that way as well. But I think, like, am I benevolent to a creature that I see less intelligent than I am? Like, if I see an ant hill or a spider web, or why are we benevolent to little puppies and not to a spider that came in your house? You smash it and kill it. what I mean, so and that's even a lower intelligence level. So imagine some other being that was equally as
Well,
distant
maybe.
between an ant and a human as a human to this other being. Would they be benevolent to us or see us as being in the way? They're in our way. Let's smash them.
Well, maybe it's because we're not intelligent enough to know that these little creatures have a purpose here and are as important as we are. And so maybe they are kind of, I don't know, like cuz you like emotional intelligence, I think like they I don't necessarily think that, I don't know. I think they if they were more intelligent, I feel like they would understand and know that we.
Well, if they were more intelligent, maybe they created this whole Earth. They terraformed it with, they seeded it with every creation. So maybe these, imagine a being that could live for 1,000,000 years. Imagine a being that says, well, I need to go farm. I'm going to set up Earth as my farm, and I'm going to have all these intelligent beings create, mine gold, mine silver, and increase their population. So then when we come back in 1,000,000 years, there'll be plenty of food and resources for us to gather up when we're ready to move on to the next planet. Imagine that.
Yeah, it
I mean,
could
we think our
like
standard life is 100 years, but there could be beings. I mean, hell, I mean, trees live for hundreds of years. So, I mean, why wouldn't
yeah,
we assume that a being out there, another creation, another life out there, wouldn't live 1,000 years or could live 10,000 years? And imagine if you could
yeah,
live 10,000 years, what would you do if you, wanted
yeah.
to leverage resources to
Hmm.
to do that? I mean, if you were a non-spiritual being like that, that's the mindset you would have, because that's the mindset that most of humanity has. We're going to set up a farm and create cattle and blah blah blah, and we're going to slaughter them and eat them, and we're going to grow that population of that herd and use them for their food and resources or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of for a higher being to say, well, we're going to set up Earth to be our farm, and eventually it's going to be at a population where we're going to go harvest it so we can have all the food and resources. And by the way, they've mined gold for us too. So we can go around and collect all the gold that's been mined, because it's generally stored in a
Yeah.
couple, the mass amounts of it is stored in the central bank vaults. you know? so,
So, you know how in some, like, don't know if it's some culture or there's like, or some ancient, I don't know, I can't remember. But it says it's like, so like two alien species came here, and maybe like they think that that's what like the pyramids are made from.
yeah.
Like they intertwined their species to make us. So maybe they made our species to be, a smaller lifespan, and I don't know, like very, I don't know,
Maybe
they like engineered us to do all of that.
they could have. I have
I
a
don't
theory.
know.
I have this theory too that there's a known catastrophe cycle of Earth. It's they pinpointed it around 12,000 years. You know, like every 12,000. Can you hear me? You kind of froze up again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Mara?
Yeah.
All
I can hear you.
right. So
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a known cycle of about 12,000 years that a
Yes. Can
catastrophe
you hear me?
happens. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. I think you're for whatever. It could be here. It's storming here really bad, but so there's this known 12,000 year cycle.
Oh gosh.
What? Mara?
I think it's very lagged.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh gosh. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh gosh.
Are we back to normal?
Hello?
Can you see me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you see me?
I think it's very, very lagged. I can see you, yes. Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Oh, okay. I think it's back to.
Yeah, I think it's back to normal. So Wi-Fi. Are you on? Are you better now? You back to normal? We'll see if
Oh
she
gosh.
connects. Are you there? I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yes.
That's funny. You're coming through
That's
on the
weird.
audio, but I can't.
Oh wait, it says my camera's off.
There you go. Is that better now?
Okay.
We back to normal?
Yes. I think so.
It's
Think
crazy.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
So there's this 12,000 year catastrophe cycle that's known. And what if right before that next catastrophe happens, whoever set up the earth comes in and harvests the earth before that, like the extinction of the dinosaurs? Right before that extinction event occurred, they all were harvested. And then the next event, after the event, they get set back up again. And they know, because it's a known cycle. We know it now that our solar system is rotating through the Milky Way galaxy. So our solar system is doing this, but we're actually flying through space around the galaxy. And the galaxy it's doing this on our path, and there's these known pockets in the galaxy that creates these events on our sun that causes this 12,000 year catastrophe cycle that happens on Earth. So what if these beings know that and they come back and harvest right before? Even the Bible talks about one person standing in the field and the other person disappearing immediately. It talks about the rapture. That's what they're talking about. But the Bible does talk about mass amounts of people disappearing immediately all at once. Like, expect that it's coming. It's coming. You're going to be standing there around people, and people are going to all of a sudden disappear. That's a theory. I've thought about that. I'm like, what if that happens? Like, that's strange.
Why is it year 2023 though?
Well, so we're right at our 12,000 year cycle from the Great Flood. The last, not the Great Flood. They call it the Younger Dryas event, where it was the last mass extinction event that we know of, that we can tell from fossils, what's left out there through. But so right at 12,000 years ago, there was a mass extinction event. And then 12,000 years prior to that, there's another one in the fossil records that they can see. Same way 12. But so now we're right now in our current times, we're right at that 12,000 year window. We're right at that moment in time.
Like it'll happen in our lifetimes.
Some believe that it will. There's one guy that I watch all the time. He puts out a daily video every morning about the sun and the cycles of the sun and where we're at in the universe. Um, he believes that the event will happen in our lifetime. I'm not so sure it will, and that's why generally you have to live your life and keep living, because you can't, like,
Yeah.
an event like that is like, I don't know that you can prepare for an event like that. He seems to think
Yeah.
you can. He seems to think you can he lives in Colorado near the mountains, where he says that this is one of the spots in the world that you'll be able to survive when an event like this occurs. But I'm not so sure that you will, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
it's interesting, like,
Hmm.
to think. But people that have theories about it, and there are telltale signs, like our Earth's magnetic field is weakening. Our magnetic poles are shifting. The South Pole isn't even in the South Pole anymore. It's already moved up the Earth past Antarctica, so they have to adjust the GPS satellites, like on every 6-month basis. They have to adjust the GPS satellites so your GPS will get you to the right location if you're driving north, because the magnetic North Pole is now shifting down around the Earth as well. When those poles shift, the protection of Earth decreases, so you don't have the protective field around Earth. It starts diminishing and decreases as well, so we're more susceptible.
Like the atmosphere.
Yeah, the magnetic field shield from the sun's harmful radiation is weakening, and when the poles shift around, it weakens even more so. So we're more susceptible to solar flares and events like that as well.
So wouldn't we be going through more of a not an ice age, but a warming age, if our thing was weakening?
No, because the radiation is charged energetic particles. It doesn't necessarily mean heat. It's charged particles of energy. But at the same time, the sun is going through its phase. It's a predictable phase that the sun's going through. It's called a grand solar minimum, where the sun goes through these phases of more energetic, putting out more heat and energy, in these cooler cycles. So, and the same guy I listened to, and another guy as well, say that we're heading into a cooling phase. We're heading into a mini ice age, like by 2030, within the next 10 years, we're going to be full on into, like, you're really not going to have a summer. It might be warm like a spring, but it's not going to be a hot summer, and the winters are going to be like, the whole winter will be 6 to 8 months long. Like, the northern and southern hemispheres, ice and cold will start, coming more and more down towards the equator, and we have actually this past year have set more cold record temperatures than ever before. If you look at the cold record temperatures that have been set, I mean, it's 55 degrees here today. It's cold. It's cold here. It's rainy and 55, which is normally 80 this, and at the end of May. It's rarely ever this cold here, but that's something too that, like, okay, we'll watch that and see. It's more somewhat entertaining. I don't get too hung up on it, but it's try to understand and keep your at least keep a pulse on everything that's going on.
Yeah, interesting.
I tell you one that I like watching anymore. It's called the Y Files. I mentioned it last time. It's the Y Files is it's very entertaining. The dude talks about, like, he digs into conspiracy theories and tries to dig up as much facts as he can about conspiracy theories and what's going on around it. The last one he did was on crop circles. It's like they're like 20 to 30 minutes long. It was like almost like an episode, but he's really good at it. He's really good at what he does. Very entertaining. Makes you wonder and think.
Yeah.
What you got going on today?
Very interesting. Um, Nothing planned really. Probably just clean,
Yeah.
go to the gym.
Yeah.
Probably.
Um, what's the weather like?
It's pretty nice. We have the windows open. Um, like probably probably 60s, 70s.
Wow. Yeah, it's like it's there's a tropical storm right off the coast, so we're getting hit with that. But it's cold. It's like 50 in the 50s, and wind like really windy. It's supposed to
Wow.
be that all weekend. So, when Nancy's birthday is Monday, so
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah,
Are y'all
we're
doing anything?
well. I think we're going to Savannah. We it may change depending on the weather, but we're going to Savannah and staying the night, hanging out at the pool. Is supposed to, but if this storm doesn't blow
Oh yeah.
through, then I doubt we'll do that. So we'll see. But Monday, Monday's a holiday, so
Oh yeah.
no big plans for the rest of the weekend.
No, they have a big have you heard of the Murph?
What is it?
Murph. It's called Murph. So it's like um CrossFit people do it. Like I guess somebody one time did this workout in honor of like I don't know if it was like the US or like the army or like I don't know exactly
Yeah,
why he did it, but it was for some reason like that. But so it's like you run a mile and then you do I can't remember how much it is, but it's like 100 pull-ups, 150 air squats, and like 200 push-ups or something like that. And so they're doing that on Monday,
okay.
and we've been like training for it for like a month and a half.
That's a good get you in shape for that for sure. That's some serious
Yeah,
exercise in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that'll be what I'll do on Monday morning.
yeah, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we'll jump off today, and we'll do it again next Saturday.
Saturday
Maybe
sounds
Get
good.
Luke back on. He won't be hungover.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
All right, Mara. You have a good weekend. I love you.
Okay, you too.
All right.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.